Hi, my name is Ghiselle and this is my podcast Smells Like New Talent. In this podcast I will talk to multiple upcoming musicians about them, their music and their future visions. If you're looking for new music, this is the place to be. This episode, Low Hill. I've got my body overboard. Feels like I'm dead and headed south. I ain't got nobody else to yearn for. Ain't got nobody else to turn to. I think I'm A warm welcome to Laurens Vanhulle, also known as Low Hill. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Cool. So I got to know you when you participated in this Belgian TV show called The Columbus. We should definitely talk about that. But first, could you introduce yourself? Who is Low Hill?
Let's see. Low Hill is a kind of myself, my alter ego, my musical alter ego. I would say it's this kind of solo music project where I produce and compose and write music and play live, of course.
Yeah.
And I guess you could say that sound wise it's a bit somewhere between like ambient neo soul, but I'm also always like seeking for kind of interesting sounds or soundscapes or ambient moods, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I guess.
And when did you start making music? Is it something that you were interested in as a young kid, or did that interest come later?
It was something I was all that really started as a kid. I mean, I guess I was when I was 9 years old. I started playing drums, and that evolved quite quickly to like DJing. And when I was 12, 13, and then I started to make my own kind of soundscape stuff. But it was always a thing that was kind of in the background. I would say I just did it. I never thought or saw it as a thing like, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna make music. It was always just there. And I guess that it was until I was like 22 or 23 that I really decided to like try and make a career out of it ish. And I guess that when I told that to like friends and stuff, they were all like, yeah, of course, because you're a musician, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah.
But it was never that present. I mean, it was just always there. I never asked it. I mean, I never questioned it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and at some point you started as a composer for theater and dance in Antwerp. Could you tell something about that? Because it sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting. The thing is that what I just said, like I never really questioned it. It was just there. Um, it was also the same with things that I did in life. So I was really interested in theater and movies and stuff, and I started taking acting classes, and then all of a sudden I got I entered this conservatorium here in Antwerp where I started like acting class, and it was really nice. And actually, I wanted to become like an artist or make theater or movies or stuff, but I didn't pass. But I really like stayed very close to this group of people that were in theater eventually and worked on different pieces, and they all knew me. And all of a sudden I got like this phone call, oh, we need like a song, can you make this for this theater piece? And that's how it begun, like. And then I did another one for another piece, and then another company saw that, and then I did this dance thing, and then I did some movies. So and like my first kind of audience were all also my first concerts were literally like in front of a bunch of actors and movie makers, and they were like, "Oh, we want to work with you, or we want to do something with this." Um, so yeah, I guess as well because my music's very soundscapey, soundtrack, like very sometimes dramatic.
Yeah.
Uh, it's something that I think works as well with theater or with some drama
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you did theater, but on the musical side, different than you imagined before, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine like becoming like this actor or director. I because that was the thing. I always played music, but I had like a goal of like I want to become an actor or a director or make movies or stuff. And then all of a sudden, I decided no, I just make music because that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I always did, and that's what I'm good at. But I never wanted to let go of my big yeah passion I had, this love for acting and theater. And so yeah, and then I got involved in this company, and I was like a member of the company, and that's also when I got like started working on more than just the music, but also like the scene and how it should be done, and like kind of I had like this kind of director and musical director part, so that was really nice. So that was a kind of way to just to still fulfill this other dream a little bit. Then I'm still working on that as well,
Yeah.
but always with like music in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I read in your bio on Spotify that Low Hill was originally a five-piece band. What is the reason for it being a solo project now?
yeah, actually, it's a bit of a thing. It started off as a band because I mean, obviously I was writing music and I wanted um, to play live, but I really don't like to see. I think we live in a time now these days, or for the past 10 years, there were a lot of live acts I saw, and it was all kind of boring. I mean, it was like a guy standing there pushing some buttons and then someone singing, and it's always like it's good, but it's never like amazingly good because it's a computer. And I really didn't want that effect. I really didn't want to have like a computer on stage and me singing. So I had like this goal that I wanted like every instrument that I composed or made or had in mind, I wanted it to be live. So I started looking for like musicians who could do that. And then I formed this group, and we were a really nice group of people. But I guess I was a bit too too ambitious or something, and some people kind of dropped the game or dropped the ball, and then I decided to go on myself, to go on like as a solo project, and that also like really helped me because I was really like I'm a bit of a perfectionist
Yeah.
when it comes to sounds and stuff, and yeah, so yeah. But now I have to admit that I'm thinking about maybe um, getting involved with some musicians again in the future, but that's something for I guess when there's a new record coming or something like that.
And do
But
you, when you make music, is it the creating process? Do you do everything by yourself, or are there other people um, helping you
um,
or giving ideas?
I guess I do most of the stuff myself when it comes to like the writing process. I have a really good friend who's a musician, and sometimes I send him some crappy recordings, and then he sends me back, oh, maybe you should try this or that. But I guess most of the stuff I write and have written and stuff that I'm writing at the moment is like, yeah, it's all kind of by myself. Only when I'm like getting into like the producing part and the mixing part and the final stage, I I have a really good connection with Benjamin de Smet, a musician from Essex, and he helps me a lot with the mixing part and like with the story. What's the whole story of the song? Um, in I mean like what in what's related to how it sounds or stuff like that.
Don't let your love calm down. Don't let your love calm down.
Your artist name is Lowhill. Where did
Mm.
that name come from?
It's very easy. It's my real name is I mean my name is Laurens Vanhulle, and Vanhulle is like an so a kind of an old version of saying from the hill,
Yeah.
and so um, and yeah, and I thought I could just because I saw it back then as well as a kind of a solo project. I could just do something like Laurens Hill or something,
Oh, yeah.
but then that would be like similar, very similar to like Lauren Hill and stuff,
Oh,
and that would be
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
So and as all my friends called me Lau, so I picked like Lau Hill, and I thought, oh, maybe Low Hill, and uh, that's like how I got the name. Very boring, but yeah, and I looked it up as well, and in there's like a place in England, I guess it's called like Wolverhampton, and they got a city, and it's called Low Hill as well, and it's this very weird story about like school of children that disappeared in that city. That really like I was like pretty triggered by that, and also it's like a tumulus as well, like a place where they bury people. Like back in ancient times, when someone died, they buried him in like inside of a hill, and it was called like a low hill. It's like a place to bury people, and they bury people in the hills back in the days.
So
Uh,
in the end, it's a really cool stage name.
I thought so. I thought it was nice because it's like my name. It has my name in it, and it has like this weird kind of story, and it has like this kind of place where you bury people.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I like the idea of like a hill or a mountain is something that's really big, or
Mm.
where you think, ah, this is like this big thing, but it's like a low hill, so it's like a little big thing. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have like a friend, and he made an album. And it's called like Small Things and Bigger Nothings. I like yeah those to put those things together.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, as I said earlier, you participated in this Belgian TV show called The Columbus. Presenter Wim Libaert travels in 4 days with a bus to a destination that isn't possible to reach in 4 days. That's why arriving at the destination isn't important, but the important thing is to let everything go in those 4 days and let in the unexpected. Um,
Mm-hmm.
all episodes were with different famous Belgians, except for the last episode of season 2. Infamous Belgian people could sign up for a chance to be on the show, and one of those people that signed up was you. And eventually, you were the person that made it to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, how did that whole process go from wanting to be on the program to signing up to actually being chosen and go on that trip?
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Yeah, the thing, to make a long story short, I guess like in that period, I really wanted to go on a holiday, like super badly. And the thing was, I really wanted to be like, normally when I go on holiday, I go to like city tripping or stuff like that. And I really wanted to go like on holiday to like nature or stuff. And with my girlfriend back then, we were seeing the show on television a lot, and she was a huge fan of it, and I started seeing it as well. And we had this plan to book this trip to like some kind of a house somewhere in the Ardennen, just in Belgium, but like in nature, the middle of nowhere, just have some time off. And I thought it was great, but then we had some kind of financially issues, and then we decided not to do that. And I guess like at the same day when we decided not to do it, we were like super sad. And I remember her like going to bed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this show Columbus that I recorded, and I recorded and I watched it. And after the show, like there was this kind of really short commercial where they just said like, yeah, you want to go on a trip with the bus, you can like subscribe on the website. And actually, I really thought that I could like win a trip.
Yeah, yeah.
This is great, and I was like, okay, this is really perfect. I can subscribe for this. Maybe I'll win this trip, and then maybe we can still go on a holiday with that bus. That would be awesome. But I wasn't thinking, because they didn't set it like explicitly that it was for the TV show
Oh,
and for new stuff. So I really thought it was going to be like a holiday. So I filled in this this whole form with the thing in my head. I'm going on holiday, and then I sent it in, and then I got this phone call. These people were like, "Yeah, you subscribed for the show, and we chose you together with 50 other people." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait!" And so then I discovered that, oh, it's actually for the television show. Um, but I was like, oh yeah, why not? And then they asked me to make like a little video, and then I got chosen.
cool.
And, yeah, yeah,
Things turned out different than you expected, but it was still
totally
great.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
totally.
you brought a keyboard and played your song "Drowning in a Ruin." And at that moment, I directly fell in love with your voice and your music. What was that like to play your song there, and also knowing that it will be on national television?
It was really scary, but I wasn't really um, worried about the whole television thing, because actually when we were on the trip, I wasn't really aware of like it sounds weird and cliche to say, but I was really like in the moment,
Yeah,
and I wasn't thinking about. I mean, those people were obviously filming, but I wasn't aware of, this is going to be on national television. People are going to actually see this. I was like, let's just have some fun here. And so I was on that trip, but then mm, um, I had a small talk with the director before we left, like I guess some days before, and he said, yeah, what's like a thing that you really would love to take on a holiday if you could? And I was like, yeah, I have this piano thing because I play music, and they were like, okay, great. And then I took it, and then he had like the idea. The director told me, maybe it's nice if we, I mean, find some time, like when we have dinner at the fire or something, that you can play. And I was like, okay. And I was like, really, it was like in the back of my mind that maybe I would play a song like when we were eating or stuff. I don't know.
yeah,
I had this small in my head. I was making it like as small as possible, and then all of a sudden we were like in this beautiful ruin, and then he brought it up, and I felt that like I got so tense. I was like, fuck no, he wants me to play it here. Fuck. But it was great. So yeah, it was really nice. I'm really glad I did it. Um, it was really nice, because the things what you didn't see on the show is, it's like really a church, and around the church were just like a few houses, and there were like, and all these people were like starting to get out of their houses as I was playing. It was so nice. It was such a great thing to do. Yeah, it was great. One of the greatest shows I ever did, I guess, until
cool.
now. So yeah.
'Cause I've got my body overboard. Feels like I'm dead and heading south. I ain't got nobody else to yearn for. Ain't got nobody else to turn to. I think I'm drowning, drowning.
And did being on the show on the Columbus bring you things like new listeners or opportunities, or maybe like more inspiration for songwriting or things?
Um, it bring me some personal stuff, yeah, like looking differently at life, I guess, somehow, and some nice friends, like from the like the director, for instance. We're still like on talking terms. That's nice. I guess musically, there was like this huge boost, but it just went on for like a few weeks. Um, uh, it was pretty weird to be like in the middle of this. Actually, I have to admit, I was super overwhelmed, and yeah, I really didn't expect it. It sounds really stupid, but I didn't expect it to be that big or something. And I was a bit shocked,
Uh,
and I remember like I didn't left my house like for a week, and I was so stressed about like going outside, and I stopped like writing songs for a while as well, because I really felt a bit, oh fuck, this is heavy. Um, so I was a bit overwhelmed. I remember like the morning after, really the morning after it aired, there was my doorbell rang. I opened the door and there was just a guy standing in front of my door, a total stranger. He was like, "Yeah, I saw you on the show, and I looked for your house. You were amazing." And I was like, "Wow, okay,
a bit
this
creepy.
is so." It's super creepy.
Yeah.
It was super creepy. And then yeah, it was super weird. Like, and people started like, but it's also, yeah, it's also a thing what happens. But I wasn't aware of that it would have like this huge impact. I remember like after the show, Wim, the guy who was driving the bus, who was with me, he also called me. He said, "You need to take a look at the Facebook posts from AIM, like the television thing." And I was like, okay. And then we had like thousands of likes, and
Oh,
all these people were, and all of a sudden, yeah, it was like this small explosion, and I was really overwhelmed. So it made me like crawl back in a shell for a few weeks, because I really didn't know how to handle it. Somehow, looking back at it, I sometimes feel a bit stupid that I didn't like take all the opportunities that were obviously there, because I had a lot of show requests, people asking me if I could play on all these shows. It was so weird playing, but it was weird to play on shows as well back then, because I did a show and like it was crowded for the first time. My first shows after that were super crowded, but people weren't like really paying attention to the music. But just afterwards, they wanted to be on a picture with me or have this small talk with me, and I was like, yeah, but it was super weird. It
they
was really
thought
weird.
you were famous now, and they didn't like really come for your music, or
No, no. So that was really,
uh,
yeah, that was really weird, and it made me a bit sad. And I guess I gave it up. I mean, and not gave it up like fully, but I really lowered my intention on writing and making music for a few months back then, I guess. I really don't like to feel like a lot of pressure when I write, and there suddenly there was like a huge amount of pressure, because all these people were like, okay, what's next?
yeah.
And everyone was texting me and via WhatsApp, and everyone was like, got like huge amount of emails of people like, do you have more music? Can we listen to some? Is there an album that I can buy? Are there some shows? And then I just signed a deal with the label, with V2 Records, and I remember them like after the show aired, they got a lot of emails as well. So they were like really pushy, like, okay, we need more music, we need more singles, we need more songs we can put on the radio. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? So I was really overwhelmed, and I guess yeah, looking back at it, I'm sometimes a bit sad that I didn't like jumped back then, but I really didn't felt ready for it, and yeah, So yeah.
Okay, something different. To find the inspirations of the musicians in this podcast, I often look for playlists they made, and in your case, I found two playlists. Let's start with the first. For the trip in the Columbus, you made a playlist with your favorite songs in it. There's a lot of Bon Iver in it and a lot of James Blake. And I really hear that James Blake sound back in your music. What do you like about him and his music?
Wow, so much. What I like the most about him, I remember hearing like his song for the first time, actually like the Wilhelm Scream song, and it was actually on a theater play I saw from Toneelgroep Amsterdam, and I was like super amazed by the song. And the thing what I really like about him is how he's really how do you say it? He's really like very secure, and he's with everything. Everything is so um, it's like when he puts together the song, he only takes like the what's like super essential for it, and he's not busy with. I mean, when I would record a song or anyone, I guess, and you want it to be like I wanted to make, and you want to make it like big, or you want to like a big chorus, or you want to like to really like hit it hard, then you would obviously say, okay, we need a lot of drums, we need a lot of um, guitars, a lot of bass, maybe someone that screams or something like that. And what he does is like completely the same, but like pure intentional. Like, what do I need here? And then he chooses like one sound, and that's like a kind of yeah. It's like sometimes it's almost annoying tone that's like beep beep beep.
Mm.
That's really like hitting your head super hard, but it's like yeah, to me it's he always uses like the super essential, like how for instance how Picasso sometimes Picasso had this period when he painted faces, and he used like only used like 3 or 4 lines, and with 3 or 4 lines he could paint like this perfect face, and you could see it's a face, you could see like, oh, this is a face of a human being, but it's like 3 or 4 lines, like a child that would draw a face, but
Mm.
actually it's like Picasso, and he went to all these stages of how do I paint this face. And it's like the same how I see like the same thing in how James Blake thinks about how do I really let this chorus have like its impact without using a lot of drums or a lot of guitar or a lot of sounds. And I really like how he this makes decisions on that, and and also like plays with um, effects like echoes and stuff like that in a total different way. To me, it was like it was a huge eye opener on like wow, so this is possible. This is crazy. I guess like James Blake was a bit of an artist that really um, made me because back in the days I made like music for film and theater, and it was very soundscapey, very ambient, very moody. And next to that, I wanted like to write songs, and I saw those things as two different worlds. Like, okay, when I write songs, it's like me on a guitar, and when I make theater, it's me on a synthesizer or with samples or with cassettes or sampling old tapes and doing stuff with that. And I felt like James Blake brought those two worlds like completely together and made it like sound like something that's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
uh, and to me that was a huge eye opener. Yeah.
Mm. And the other playlist I found was called Low Hill What Inspires Me, with songs in it that inspire you. And in that playlist were two artists that I wouldn't immediately match with you, namely Maggie Rogers, who makes a mix between folk dance and R&B, and Sam
Yeah.
Henshaw, who combines soul pop and hip hop. In what way do they inspire you?
Um, ah, yeah, I get inspired by a lot of artists, but what I really love about Maggie Rogers is her this great vibes she has, and she really sticks to who she is, or it has like this authenticity, and still it's like really poppy and dancey and happy, and you can just when I put it on, it immediately blows my mind. Um, yeah, and she has this great vibe. I can't really like put a finger on it what it is, but it's like every time I put it on, it really I have this huge smile on my face, and I feel like jumping through the roof, and it's great. And I get like I guess like the drive, how she writes, and how she like sticks to who she is, or who she thinks she is, or whatever. um, that is something that really inspires me, and I guess you hear it throughout what she writes, and I really love her lyrics as well. It's really easy. It's really like really simple lyrics, but it says a lot. So in that way, I guess Maggie Rogers and Sam Henshaw, he made one song. It's called Better, I guess,
Yeah.
and it's like immediately when I actually he's a nephew of a female singer I worked with, and she told me, yeah, I should listen to my nephew once, and I put it on, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And he has like this very soulful R&B vibe that I really like, and he does great things with his voice, and I really love that. Yeah, and he's also somewhere between like folk and soul sometimes. Yeah, and that really, yeah, that really, yeah, I really like
Yeah.
that.
And when you're writing a song, how does that go? Do you have set writing hours, or do you just write when something comes in your mind?
um, yeah, it really depends, to be honest. But most of the time, I get a little bit overwhelmed by myself. I mean, like I try not to like sit down and write a song, because most of the times that doesn't work. But it's more like when I do like these. I ever since like now, especially since the lockdown, I decided I need to like practice. I need to practice more. So I decided like, okay, I'm gonna play like piano like a few times a week. I'm gonna sing a bit more. I'm gonna like play scales, intervals, do all these kind of stuff. And so I really like push myself to do that. And I'm really, I'm super bad at sticking to programs or to stuff I need to do. So I get like um, uh, distracted super fast. So I just sit on my piano and I start to do like these scales, and I do this stuff. I guess when you hear some of my music, like you can hear it in Drowning as well. It has this in the background, this voice going da 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 da, and on top of that, I sing the song. And I have it in some others. In one of my old songs called Falling, I do this hum as well. And a lot of new stuff, there's like my voice as well, but it's basically just a singing exercise. So I basically, most of the time, I start like exercising, and I play like intervals, and I start to sing like 5 1 5 1 5 like that, and then all of a sudden I get distracted because I think, "Ooh, this sounds great," and then I start to record it, and basically that's it. And then I start to, then it starts to flow, and then I start to write stuff. So most of the time, it's just me getting distracted, I guess, in a kind of a workflow. But I'm really bad at like sitting down and doing that. I'm a kind of more of an um, avoiding type of person, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess I always like wait until there's not much time left, and I'm like, okay, let's do it very fast, and then I start some recordings. Yeah, like that, I guess.
Okay, I think it's time for a little game. I ask the artists in every episode to answer as much this or that questions as possible in exactly 1 minute. So, for example, pop or rock, and then you choose one. So, do you want to try to beat the number one with 22 answered questions?
Shit. Okay, let's try that.
Okay. Okay, when I say start, the minute goes in, and you have to answer as much of them. So
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Headphones or speakers?
Speakers.
Record music or write music?
Record music.
Concert or festival?
Concert.
Watch a music video or watch a concert video?
Watch a concert video.
Cassette or vinyl?
Vinyl.
Verse or bridge?
Bridge.
Talk Talk or Fleetwood Mac?
Talk.
Piano or guitar?
Piano.
Rock Werchter or Lowlands?
Lowlands.
The triangle or the accordion?
Accordion.
DJ
Definitely.
or band?
Band.
Play music or listen to music?
Listen to music.
Taylor Swift or Dua Lipa?
Oh, Taylor Swift.
80s or zeros?
80s.
Wembley or the Royal Albert Hall?
Wembley.
Make music or play a live show?
Make music.
Rock music or jazz music?
Jazz music.
Time's up. You got 17 answered questions. That's third place.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it isn't. It's you're on the podium.
Great.
So
Great.
I ask you, write music or record music? I'm not sure what you said. Was it write music or record music? What did you prefer?
I said record music.
And why is that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult thing. I guess I would say write music, but I just write recording wise.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like I said, when I start writing songs, I do like these exercises or stuff. It's always like being kind of in a distraction. I mean, wow. Yeah, I'm always like have to be like distracted to really write good, and so I can't really write. I mean, I can't sit down and write, and most of the times I start recording stuff, and then out of the recording there comes this writing. So maybe that's why I said recording, and also because I really love to mix and produce and record also for other people. It's a nice thing. And it gives me some headspace.
Yeah. And in March you released an EP called As You Fall Into the Sky with 4 piano songs on it. Why are the songs with just the piano?
It was this weird thing because of the corona that was happening. We were all like in this kind of lockdown mood. And I just started playing piano a lot, like on daily basis. Also like did these stupid exercises. And then all of a sudden I decided to improvise some stuff with like based on a kind of an exercise I did. And I just like hit the record button and I started playing, and I didn't stop for an hour or two. And then I was like, wow, okay. And then I kind of listened to that, and actually it's just a live improvisation of me on the piano. But it kind of, for me, yeah, to me it was kind of really what was going on in my head and how I was feeling at that moment. Like everybody was like sitting inside and everything was quiet. Everything was like, I don't know, there was like this weird kind of atmosphere in the sky. And yeah, it just felt great. And I always have this huge fascination for Keith Jarrett, like the jazz pianist, classical pianist, and it's like a kind of I always said like, wow, that would be like a dream for me to be like Keith Jarrett, because he's like this jazz pianist, but he plays also classical music, and he has like this famous CD called like the Köln concerts, and it's actually a concert in Köln, obviously. But what he basically does is he takes the plane to Köln, he sits down at this piano and he starts jamming, but like in front of a stadium full of people, and he just starts jamming for an hour or two or three, and it's great, it's amazing, it's like it's really it blows my mind, and I'm really like I'm really blown away by this whole improvisation thing, because I think it's the most pure form of music, because it's completely live and you can really reproduce. Um, so yeah, I guess all those items together just came to like that one recording, and I showed it to some friends, and they were all like really kind of blown away by it, and I decided I could like release it as a kind of a as a kind of an answer to what was going on at the moment. Uh, and I also just broke up with my girlfriend, I guess, and I don't know, it just suited everything.
So and the songs are titled 3, 2, 1 and 3.1. Is there a reason for those titles?
Yeah, because it's an improvisation, but I edited it. So actually, number one was actually the beginning of the improvisation, and number two, and so it's actually number one and two and three. But to me, like number three had the most of kind of like a theme um, to it, like something that's like this recognizable melody that I really loved. So I decided to just like mess it up and start with number three, or like with the end of the improvisation, and I called it like number three because I did like these three parts, and then I decided to make a variation on number three as a kind of a theme. So it's this improvisation that I basically like chopped up and made something out of. Yeah.
Okay. And um, in May you did a live session for the Belgian music site Dansende Beren, and you played an unreleased song that you were still working on at the time. How's it going with that song and other new music?
Um, it's going really well. Yeah, and I have to say, for now, I have like actually, I got like since yesterday, I got 11 tracks that are kind of in a state where they are like finished, but still need like proper recordings and proper mixing and stuff. But I really did a lot of writing actually, and it was pretty amazing. So now, yeah, it's good. It's going well. It's just hard for me not to start to feel pressure, something like that, because I really discovered that pressure is the baddest thing for me to feel.
Uh,
So yeah, but it's going well. Yeah, it's going really well.
okay, great. Because at the start of this year you released your most recent song. When I before the EP, you released the song "Heal."
Yeah.
What's the story behind that song?
Wow. There actually it's kind of a big story. I was my ex girlfriend that I broke up with, and where like the As You Fall Into the Sky is a bit of an answer to as well. Heal is actually like dedicated to her, I guess, or to our relationship. Like it's a bit the story of actually like when you would see it in its wholeness. Is that a word? I don't know. It's just basically about a, someone that is like meeting another person, and every time you make like the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again, and you really know why, you know why you are making these mistakes, both of you do, but it still happens because it happens, and it's a bit of a sad thing. You're in this kind of loop, this loophole where you can't really go get out, I guess. And you yeah, and you really like fuck, and it's what I sing in the chorus, like you got to give up on something, and you really feel like every time it comes back to that, like we you got to give up on something, and then we can move on, but it feels like we're always on the run.
And I want you to feel, you to feel. And I want you to hear, so this can never stop. We're always on the road. We're always on the road.
And you said you were working on new songs. Do you have any other plans for the near future? Yeah, touring and live concerts is difficult now these days, but except from new music, do you have other things you want to work on, or?
No, I'm really like focusing on the album, and I really want to make like this kind of cool live videos around it. And I have these a bit of what I really like about. I discovered that as well, that I really like to work on an album because you can like really make a whole story
Yeah.
around it, and that is something that's not possible with like a single. It's like a small thingy, and and this album, you can, it has like a big storyline, and you can make like this artwork and these videos, and it's all like built around this one story, and that's something I really like. And I'm kind of want to put that story in a kind of in several like videos as well. So I'm talking about videos and artwork with different people now, but it's basically it's the album that I'm really working on pretty hard. And I have I'm talking again to people to form like this band to play live, but that will be like next year, I guess, as well. I guess, yeah, really like next year. Um, Besides that, not really. Nothing that is very solid yet. I'm just like, there's this person that's I mean, a friend of mine. He's writing a movie, and he wants me to make the music for that. So that is maybe something that will happen. But apart from that, no, not much.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best of luck with those things. And thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thanks. Thank you for having me. It's great.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to the 5th episode of the Smells Like New Talent podcast. If you are an upcoming musician and want to be featured in the next episode, please message me on Instagram at smellslikenewtalent or send an email to smellslikenewtalent@gmail.com.